one thing I've noticed, and this happens to me myself, because of how life is so fast, we often react instead of think.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something very important, which was you said, I thought about it.
Yeah.
So what made you take that moment or these moments over that year to really stop and think, like, what is I like about this? What is I don't like about it? What do I miss? What do I want?
I tell you, man, that all kind of comes from my upbringing, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because, you know, like, I'm the youngest of 5. I had 4 older brothers, you know what I'm saying? My mom was an avid reader, you know what I'm saying? And me being the youngest, she put a lot of pressure on my head because she was like, I'm gonna get this one right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my 2 older brothers, they were like always had, you know, good jobs and stuff like that. And then the younger, the twins, so it's Michael, Charles, Richard, and Robert. My brothers, Richard and Robert, we call them Shake and Blue. So they are like they're like hood heroes. People know them throughout New York, various boroughs, from every form of hustling. And when I was a kid, I visited every institution, every jail institution on earth, I think, damn near. From Rikers Island, Sing Sing, Elmira. My mom used to take me to all of these places wherever they were locked up, you know, and so from young, it just was crazy. Like, though I admired all my brothers, and they were just like the flyest and the hippest, you know, it always was a fork in the road. Like, you could do like them, or you could do like them, and be yourself and mold. So,
all in your own family.
Right.
That's
all
crazy.
within, all right in the box, you know. But the thing was, they always, like, even my brothers, they instilled the patience in me. Like, my brothers came out, they always had a morality tale for me. Like, you don't want to do that. Going to jail is not cool, little nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'll bust your ass if I see you doing this. You're not supposed to do this. I know I did this, that's not for you. That's they always, and they would say, think. And they would tell me, stop, think. And they see me, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, God, man, he plays a strange role in your life sometimes, you know? Because, you know, growing up after they had more moved out, then it was on me. And so I had to make my own bones in the hood, you know what I'm saying? But they always would come around, like, in pivotal times. Like, pop up. Yo, what you doing, man? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm getting ready to go over there. You look a little uptight. What's going on? And see me slipping a little knife in my bag. Look, what you doing? Nah, man, this dude trying to apply pressure. I'm about to poke this nigga. They be like, oh, no. Come on, I can handle that. You know what I'm saying? And they just start coming through and handling shit. I'd be like, okay, man, go back upstairs, read them books. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I want to have some fun. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, so that they kept instilling that in me to stop and think. Stop, think. And of course, you know, man, I done made tons of errors and mistakes and shit. But, you know, God, you know, I'm thankful that at the right times I was able to stop and think, you know.
Well, it's very important, and I think people don't, because of how everything is so fast and at our fingertips with our phones and everything else, we just react and we don't think. So that's why I think it's important that you said that. But, but thinking is one thing, but then you had to put it in motion.
Yeah, you gotta.
So then how did you decide you have these realizations, these epiphanies, but then you moved on them?
Man, let me tell you something. Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. Here's the deep part. After I come to all of these different epiphanies, I'm writing the songs, I'm listening to the songs. You know, one of my uncles, he's an old man, this OG, he's in his 80s, and he always comes up with all sorts of ill sayings. So one of my favorites that he says, and he's very like theatrical with it, and he goes, my smoothie, Uncle Linwood, shout out to Uncle Linwood, he goes, my smoothie, the mind is like an umbrella. It works better when it's open. Keep an open mind. And he tell me stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, right? Or he'd say, he just would hit me with shit like that. Oh, and he'd be talking. He said, yes. We hold long conversations, and he'll say, yes, that's a brilliant thought. Yes, I see that you're concentrating, you're focusing. But my smoothie, be careful of analysis paralysis. So that's what he would just say to me. And I was like, yo, Unc, you are bugged out. He was like, yes, if you analyze too much, you will be paralyzed. You have to do. So I'd be like, all right, Unc, you know. So I started thinking about it, you know, again. I said to myself, shit. I started listening to all types of music that I had. I gave my son a task a few years ago. I said, listen, I would go on the road and I would meet different artists and they would all give me their CDs. And half of the time I didn't get a chance to hear any of their stuff. And I don't like to not be up on something or at least try to respond to somebody, whatever, you know. But life, like you said, everything is moving and you got responsibilities on. So I gave my son this task. I said, look, all these CDs, I want you to listen to all of these shits. You're going to be my little A&R in the house. I want you to listen to everybody's work. And I said, when you hear something that's dope, then you come back and you let me hear it. I said, and I want you to take these CDs and I want you to put them in a file for me, you know. Download them to your laptop, put them in a file. You know, my thing was, this is a new generation, so my kids say, yo, I want a Mac, I want this. I'm like, yeah, get the MacBook, get the laptop, whatever. I don't know nothing about it. I don't know how to work. You learn that, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, all right, now you can download music to that motherfucker? Download all these CDs. So long story short, one day, maybe about a little like a year and a half ago, my son, he came in and he said, Dad, do you remember that song you did? And I did this song called Flowers. And he said, you remember that song? And I said, yeah. He said, when the last time you listened to it? I said, about 2 years. He was like, no, you gotta listen to that shit, Dad. And when I listened to it, it was almost as if it was prophetic, but it was so deep, it was fly, and it brought tears in my eyes. I was like, damn. I said, that's a dope song. He said, Dad, no, listen to this. And he just started playing a lot of my older shit that I did like 5 years ago, 10 years. And I was like, all this shit is fire. And he was like, you bugging, Pop. You better start putting some of this shit out. I was like, all right, you right. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, then I came to that epiphany. Analysis paralysis. I hear my uncle, analysis paralysis. So I was like, you know, I got to start putting this shit out. Mind you, when I came across the before and everything, it was a prompt. It was like God was saying, no. Like I couldn't do, Soren, I couldn't back from the time I actually wrote it and everything, and I went in the studio and recorded it, I couldn't get the song out my mind.
Wow.
And I was like, I gotta put this out. So now the funny part about it was, I had this one song, Betrayal, and it was motivated, it was inspired by my brother Blue. And you know, Blue passed away, but I had taken music from the Stylistics, and it was Stop, Look, Listen. So I used that music, and I told an ill story rhyme on it about betrayal and all that. Woo! And that was a tough joint, and I was like, this shit, I gotta put this out, because I was just thinking about my brother. I was just filled with the emotion and everything that I had went through writing the song and the whole experience. And so I was like, I'm gonna put that out first, and I'm gonna shoot a video for it, and then I'll come with Before in my mind. I was like, then I'm gonna come with Before. And so I was preparing for it. But that video in and of itself, it's an epic story, but the song is like 7 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's dope though. Like when you listen to it, you get caught in it. But you know, the mechanics of the game, you know, so it's like 7 minutes, damn. But everybody listen to it be like, yo, dude, that's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, thanks, man, thanks, you know what I'm saying? And so I was still on it though, because of the theme and the purpose of the song. And so I was still thinking about it. And then shout out to Big Eye God, that's my business partner, right? I came to New York and we were kicking it, we was riding around, and I started playing songs for him. And he was like, oh shit, this is fine. And I was like, yeah, I played Betrayal. And he was like, yo, Smooth, you never lost it, man. He was like, that line, the shit you saying. I was like, yeah, man. I said, yeah, I'm gonna come with that first. And he was like, yeah, that'll be dope. And I said, matter of fact, let me let you hear this other joint I did. And I played Before. And he was like, no, Smooth, this has gotta be the one. And I was like, it's okay, man, don't worry about it. It's coming next, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, no, Smooth, you don't understand. No, that's the one. He said, plus it's like 3 minutes, it's under 3. It's perfect for radio and all that. I was like, But I was in my artist zone. I was like, nah, fuck that. 7 minutes is an work of art. You know, I'm going into my shit, right? So I go home, I fly back to LA. And then he called me like 2 days later, and he was like, when you gonna put out that joint Before, Smooth? And I was like, after Betrayal. And he was just like, Smooth, I'm telling you, man. And he kept on me. Come on, man, I'm telling you, Smooth, then you can do Betrayal. I'm telling you, because you know, the Betrayal's a period piece. Because I'm talking about the 80s and all that. And he was like, it's a period piece. You want a bigger budget for it. Put Before out right now. And I was like, this nigga. And then the funny part, so I came back to New York one time. I came back to New York, and this director, shout out to Benji Films. We had been going back and forth, and he just happened to be like, I came in New York, and he was in LA.
Okay.
And then I guess he saw me on Instagram or whatever. He's like, Smooth, where you at? And I'm like, in New York. He's like, I'll be back in New York tomorrow. He was like, you want to shoot your video?
Oh, wow.
And that shit just was crazy because he was busy and running and all that. And our schedules just kept conflicting. Mm-hmm. But at that moment, he said, I'm flying in. I'll be in tomorrow. You want to shoot your video this weekend? And I was like, oh, shit. Let's go. And then we just did before, man.
Well, I like in the video that you do have the Apollo, and it's really in the streets. It's not some studio. It's not this or that. So what was the creative angle to do it that way?
Oh, man, let me tell you something. And it's so crazy. That before is my directorial debut. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yo, dude. When he said to me, you want to shoot your video this weekend? I said, yeah. Now, mind you, I'm fully aware. I loved the song before. So, like, when I listen to music, I see visions. I see visuals. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I can listen to your music. I can listen to anybody's music. And I'll sit there and you'll be like, yo, and right after you play the song, I'll be like, you know what I can see? I can see something like, you know what I mean? So I always saw, when I did before, I said, I'm gonna bring this back to the hood. With this song, I'm gonna be back on the block and I'm gonna go to all my favorite places.
Right.
And so the irony was when we actually was talking on the phone and he said, I'm flying in tomorrow, I was on 125th Street standing by the Apollo. Wow. So I said, I'm looking at the fucking Apollo. I was like, all right, I bet. So when he came, I was like, I just was standing there. I was like, this is a scene. Now I just went home that night and I was like, yes, I got to go to Madison Square Garden. These places you have to understand. As a kid, my mom took me to my first Knick game in Madison Square Garden. And then also she enrolled me, because she was trying to keep me off the streets, and she enrolled me in New York Mission Society Cadet Corps. A lot of people in the Bronx know where that was, and it was on 170th Street and Jerome Avenue. And that place, you know, man, saved a lot of kids, man, and people went on to do different great things, you know, like in law, and, you know, a lot of people, you know, bounced from there and, you know, had a shot. Mm-hmm. Very inspirational program. Took you different places through them. They took me. I met Michael Jackson. Pardon me. I met Muhammad Ali. You know, they took us for Muhammad Ali's training camp and so forth, and just different stuff. And I end up being like a little young spokesperson for them. Like I did charity events. I did lectures as a kid. Like when I was 13, I did my first television commercial for them, and it was on Channel 11. Then I did Madison Square Garden at the Felt Forum, because every year they would have this big drill team competition, because they had a drill team and they had this marching band, the Warriors. And so, man, I did speech in the Felt Forum. I was the valedictorian. I did their first television commercial. And just different things, you know what I'm saying? So Madison Square Garden holds a significance to me as growing up. And so I said, I'm taking it back to the Garden. We're taking it to the Apollo because, you know, as a kid, of course, man, I went to, you know, concerts with my brothers at the Apollo. So Parliament Funkadelic in the Apollo. I mean, like, just as a kid, blowing my wig back, blowing my mind back, you know. And so these all were features and parts of my life that made me even want to be an entertainer. And then one of my most memorable moments, you know, with Nice and Smooth was when we actually got a chance to headline the Apollo. And oh man, that was an amazing show, man. And it'll be with me, you know. So I said, I'm come back to the Apollo. Then I took it to Bedford Park Boulevard. Now that's my hood. That's where I grew up. That's part of where I grew up. So in the video, you'll see 183rd and Webster in the Bronx. You know, that's my wife's family over there. And so I basically lived there. And I was there, Bedford Park Boulevard. And it was crazy because I really was bent on it when I saw the Joker. And he jumped off the train at Bedford Park. I said, what is my man doing on Bedford Park? Man, if you don't stop playing with me, Joker. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that's my block, Joker. So, you know, I said I got to bring it back to Bedford Park, you know. And so you see all of those were the spots, the pizza shop, I used to go to that pizza shop for years. So when I walked up in there, it was so crazy because the old timer was in there. The old timer, he was just looking at me, how you doing? I was like, what's up, man? Yo, we shooting a video. And we just did the scene in the pizza shop, you know. And coming across Fordham Road. Yeah, man.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.